Welcome back to this channel. Today we have learned about React, a powerful JavaScript library that has become favorite among developers for building interactive dynamic web applications. React was created by Facebook and has since become one of the most popular libraries for building fast, efficient and scalable user interfaces. So, why React? React allows us to build applications with the reusable components, efficient rendering, and modular structure, making our code cleaner and easier to maintain. By the end of this guide, you will understand core React concept including components, JSX, hooks, state, props, and advanced features. Okay, let's start the let's start to learn. What is React? React is a JavaScript library primarily used for building user interface, particularly single page application. With React, developers can create a large applications that can update and render efficiently without reloading the entire page. React is known for its fast rendering, component based architecture, and the ability to handle dynamic data driven interface smoothly. Its main focus is on creating and managing the view layer, which is why it's often referred to as just the MVC. MVC means Model View Controller. Why React? So why do we use React over other libraries or framework? Okay, I give a few reasons. It's a component based architecture. React application are structured with the components, each representing a few part of UI components are reusable and isolated, making code easier to debug, maintain, and scale. React use a virtual DOM to update only the parts of the page that have changed, making the app fast and responsive. Reacts on way data flow makes it easier to control and understand how data changes over time. React has a robust ecosystem with tools like a Redux, React Router, and a thriving community. This makes it easy to extend React with advanced features. It allows JXS to write HTML like syntax within JavaScript, creating a clear, readable, and intuitive structure for the UI. In this video, we will explore some key terms and concepts related to React in detail. Okay, now move on to the core concepts. What is component? Components are the fundamental building blocks of React application. Each component is a self-contained unit of code that manages a part of the user interface. Components can be simple or complex. Functional or class-based components allow developers to break down UIs into manageable pieces and reuse these pieces across the application. Each component is a JavaScript function or class that returns a piece of UI. By composing components together, we can create dynamic and interactive UIs. Okay. JXX, JSX, JavaScript XML. JSX is a syntax. JXX is a syntax extension for JavaScript and that resembles HTML in React. JSX is used to define what the UI should look like. Uh, JavaScript XML allow us to write HTML code in JavaScript, making our code cleaner and more readable. When we use JSX, React transform it into JavaScript that the browser can interpret, allowing us to use HTML element alongside JavaScript expression seamlessly. Okay, next we have to uh, see curly braces. Within JSX, we use curly braces to embedded JavaScript expression inside our HTML like code. This allows us to dynamically control elements in the UI such as setting properties, calling function, and displaying values directly in the JSX structure. Fragments. Fragments in React allow us to grow up multiple elements without adding extra nodes to the DOM. Instead of wrapping elements in a div tag, which could lead to an unnecessary nesting and affect styling. Instead of that, we can use react.fragment or the shorthand open angular and close angular tag to group elements cleanly. Props means properties. Properties are the input to components and enable data flow from a parent component to its children. By passing data through props, React maintains an unidirectional data flow, helping us create modular components. Props are read only, meaning they cannot be modified within the child component, ensuring predictable and consistent component behavior. Next, move on to children. Props.children is a special prop that represents any child elements nested inside a component. This feature makes components flexible by allowing them to receive other components, elements, or constant content as children, making them far more versatile in various UI contexts. Next, we have to see about keys. Keys are unique identifier used in list to help React keep track of elements, especially when items are added, removed, or rearranged. Keys help React optimize re-rendering by updating only the elements that have changed, loading to more efficient rendering of list and collection. Next, move on to state. In React, simplifies event handling by using camel case syntax for events like onClick and onChange. Event handling in React works similarly to the DOM, but with consistent and simplified syntax. Event handles in React are functions that define what happens when the user interacts with an element, making the UI responsive and interactive. Next, move on to the state. State in React is a data structure that allow components to manage dynamic information. State is used for properties that can change over time, such as user input or response data from an API. The useState hook enables us to create state variable in functional component. React automatically re-renders component when the state changes, ensuring the UI reflects the latest data. Controlled components. In controlled components, Form data is managed by the React component state. This approach gives developer precise control over user input, making it easy to validate and manipulate from data within the component. Controlled component link each input's value to state, updating the state with each user interaction. Next, move on to hooks. Hooks are functions that let us hook into React state and lifecycle features from functional component. The most commonly used hook include useState, useEffect, useContext, useRef. UseState manages state in functional component. It manages the state in functional component. UseEffect manages side effects like fetching data or setting up subscription, direct DOM manipulation, etc. Use context. Access data from the context API directly. It access data from the context API directly. Use ref. Allow us to reference element or values across renders. Creates a reference to element or value across the renders. Next, purity function. React components are generally pure functions, meaning it means they produce the same output for the same input and avoid side effects. Pure components make React application predictable, efficient, and easier to debug, as the same component will always render the same way under the same condition. Strict mode. Strict mode is a development only feature in React that helps catch potential issue early. When enabled, strict mode activates warning for unsafe lifecycle method and highlight potential side effects, promoting best practice and improving the quality of code base. Effects. The use effect hook in React allow us to handle side effects in functional components such as API calls, subscription, and DOM manipulation. Use effect allow action to performed when specific condition changed. By default, use effect runs after every render, but we can control when it reruns by specifying dependencies. Ensure it only updates when necessary. It enables the execution of actions such as fetching data, direct DOM manipulation, updating DOM, etc. Refs in React provide a way to directly access and manipulate DOM nodes or React elements. They are useful for situations where you need to control elements outside the React rendering flow, like focusing input fields or mm, measuring element sizes. Refs are created using the useRef hook in functional component. Next, context. The context API in React is a way to share data globally across component without passing props manually through each component level. The context API is useful for managing themes, user authentication, or other global state in a clean and organized way. Portals. Portals in React allow us to render a component's children into a different part of the DOM outside of the main app hierarchy. They are commonly used for modal dialogues, tooltips, and pop-ups which benefit from being rendered outside from the main UI structure to prevent styling conflicts. What is substance? Suspense is a feature in React that lets components wait for asynchronous data or code to load before rendering. It's commonly used for lazy loading components or handling API requests, improving the user's experience by delaying rendering until data is available. Next, error boundaries. Error boundaries catch JavaScript errors in a component tree and provide a full fallback UI to prevent the entire app for crashing. This feature helps enhance the user experience by handling errors gracefully, providing users with informative managers messages instead of an unresponsive interfaces. And that wraps up our comprehensive introduction to React. We have covered the foundational concepts like a component, state, and props, as well as advanced features like hook, the context API, and error boundaries. Each of these features contribute to React's power, flexibility, and efficiency, making it an excellent choice for modern web application. Thank you for following along, and I hope this guide has given you a solid foundation in React. Happy coding. I'll see you in the next video.